Saber 4 here, back with a couple of looks at some of the new cards that we've got here coming out for this set. This time we went away from using some of the newer leaders and wanted to touch on a couple of things that are going to really change about the game. When I talk about this to some of my friends, one of the things that we talk about is that card games exist with a basic set of rules, and the cards are there to break those rules. Or in this case, we're going to talk about the cards breaking the math of the game. In previous sets and in just the core game itself, we are looking at a 50-card deck as our standard. But we've got two bases today and some decks that are going to change kind of how that works, or in the second case, you're going to see that it changes the hand size. First, let's look at Leia with Thermal Oscillator. Thermal Oscillator, a 27-point base instead of our normal 30 or 25. And what this does is that your minimum deck size is decreased by 5. Now, that sounds insignificant until you dig deeper into the math of things. And you realize that when you draw your opening hand of 6 cards, you are going to see 13% of your deck. By turn 3, by the time that you've drawn your 12th card, you'll have seen nearly 25% of your deck. And the odds of you drawing any one card that you have 3 of in the deck come out to be about 54% by the time you're on turn 5. By the time you're on resource turn 5. So what that does is that means that your answers are going to come up much more quickly, and that you're going to be a lot more streamlined. So what we did with this is that we took the Spark of Rebellion Leia, who has been a little bit out of the main line of play, and wanted to really streamline her action economy with the synergy of a tighter deck build. So we brought in some of the pilot units, and we brought in the Leia Organa unit in a deck that doesn't have to go over 5 resources over her deploy. So we'll just take a quick look at it. You'll notice that there's a pretty good Rebel synergy here. I did use some 2-ofs to get a little bit of variety in there. But we'll talk about a couple of the new things on that next slide. These are the Jump to Lightspeed cards that we're putting in. Number 1, obviously the base. The second are our group of pilots. You'll notice in the sideboard I have BB-8. The only reason that he is not in the primary spot is that he is not a Rebel. So he does not work directly with Leia or with Rebel Assault. However, if we put him back in or slot him in a different spot, we can definitely find use for that pilot. 9-Num, R2-D2, Chewbacca all have that pilot trait that synergizes with the Leia Organa unit. I really love this Red Squadron Y-Wing and the ability to drop a 2-cost ship that deals the indirect damage, put an R2 in it in the same turn because he comes out as a 0-cost pilot. And so all of a sudden you're looking at having a 2/4 in space that effectively deals 5 on attack. Plus, because it's R2, you can add another pilot the next turn, so you could put Chewbacca in this and come up with a really big spaceship really early, or you can start working to your other things. A couple of utility cards that we've got here, Blue Leader and Chewbacca. Wanted to notice a couple of things about these first. Blue Leader is a 3-cost space unit with ambush. Same stat line here as Red 3, except that you actually can put Blue Leader into play in the ground arena. You have to do that at 5 resources, but you can bring it into the ground arena as a 5/5. And then Chewbacca, for the same cost, can come in as a ground unit that cannot be removed or returned to hand. As a 5/6, but he still keeps that pilot trait. So if you were to play him and then follow up that next turn, if you needed to, with the new Leia unit, he does get the benefit from that. So he will attack as a 6/6 with Restore 1. So a couple of really nice things that are here. Again, what we're playing off of here is the idea that our base, Thermal Oscillator, is going to allow us to have a much tighter card pool. Everything in here follows the heroism, so your for a cause is always going to hit. Your fleet lieutenant, everything in here is rebel. Same with wing leader. You're an always hit. And then with Leia, of course, you have the bonus of being able to kind of action cheat and fire 2 attacks at once. And so this is going to get you in a position where you are usually going to have initiative and be able to stay on the front foot. The second thing we want to look out here is kind of the flip side of this. Our other base that we've seen so far is the Colossus, a 35 health base. So we got 16% more health pool here, with the drawback that we're only going to see 1 out of every 10 cards that are in our deck in our opening hand, since we only draw 5 out of the 50. What I did here is just a first pass. There's nothing too spectacular about this, but what I did want to show you is that just about everything in here intends to die into another unit, or has the utility of either buying back health or the ability to draw cards. So your first 3 here, Yularen has the ability to get health back, Pershing, the ability to draw cards, and then your next several, the Wartime Trade Official, the Confederate Courier, both spawn units when they drop. I really do think that Direct Krennic is going to be one of the better things in here, because we do have several wind defeated effects. So he allows all those to come in cheaper. We do have some of the standard controls. We have Power of the Dark Side, Fell the Dragon. We have Palpatine's Return and Overwhelming Barrage. And we have a nice big package of late game units between Darth Vader, Snoke, Avenger, Relentless and Devastator, and the ability to buy back a couple of them with Palpatine's Return. I've played this a couple of times in testing, and you really do wind up, your first couple of hands, you want to aggressively mulligan and make sure you have something that spawns into a unit. Play a Wartime Trade Official, or play Krennic and play a Wartime Trade Official your next turn, because you're going to be using Palpatine to be able to ping some of those units 2 separate turns and draw back to get to your advantage. And really here you've got 9 opportunities for ramp. So we only have 6 opportunities for ramp in this one. Between the super laser and the resupply carrier, you're going to have 6 opportunities to ramp up and really kind of catch back up to the late game, where Palpatine's flip ability remains the best in the game. Once again, like I said, this is not a final version of either of these. This is just kind of playing around with those early cards and wanting a chance to get an opportunity to see where they go, how they can be utilized, and just give you a quick little summary of how the math changes based on their use. So thanks very much for checking it out. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Hit your notifications. You'll know when new stuff comes up. I'm going to try and make these at least weekly, so that we kind of keep track of some of the spoilers and things as we go. Check out the other couple of videos. We've got a complete deck of both Grand Admiral Thrawn and of the new Boba, that both run really well. And so we've tested both of these into those and just kind of played around with them. This new set's looking pretty good. So enjoy, and thanks for watching.